So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the places that the field has gone over the course of the last year. We've had a lot of questions from people about the connection between LangSec and type theory. And I'd kind of been beating my head against a wall for a long time trying to figure out how to explain it. And then thanks to a homotopy type theory workshop that I made it to in Berlin back in April, I realized it's actually fairly simple. The job of any input handler, which is to say a parser, is to take a string, eliminate it, and turn that string into some other type, to introduce a new type. And these are the two basic operations of type theory. We're essentially considering a parser to be a type constructor for the data that your code operates on. And as we saw through quite a lot of last year, incorrect string elimination, misrecognition of strings, leads to the creation of incorrect types and leads to all kinds of problems. I mean, we could easily have called 2014 the year of parsing bugs, just for the sheer number of massive, world-shattering vulnerabilities that turned out to be problems in a parser. So we can further go on to say that because a parser is introducing new types, it is also giving us the ability to reason about those types and reason about preconditions for when we're making program correctness proofs. When we talk about verified compilers, it's an unfortunate truth that they tend to not focus on parsing too much. There's a wonderful paper from 2011 by Adam Kaprowski and Henri Binstock called TRX, a formally verified parser interpreter, which mentions that in the 2009 article about CompCert, an impressive project formally verifying a compiler for a large subset of C, the introduction starts with a question: can you trust your compiler? Nevertheless, the formal verification starts on the level of the AST and does not concern the parser. Can you trust your parser? And this is a very good question. If your goal is to try to eradicate a trusting trust attack, that's great. But if you can't trust the AST that's coming in, there's still not a whole lot you can do. I mean, CompCert has closed this gap with some later work on formally validating LR parsers, but unfortunately it's in OCaml, which means it's kind of hard to integrate into C, and we're still kind of back where we started.
But we will be showing a C toolkit for building more secure parsers.
I mean, not actually verified or really even verifiable at this point because it's still in C, but baby steps.
Yeah. So we'll actually be concluding with that and then going into a general discussion. But let's review, right? We started this year with Heartbleed, right? And which is very obviously a parser bug, and exactly where we warned it would be, the nested lengths. Then nested lengths bit us again. Microsoft decided to re-implement SSL TLS and had their own secure channel. And where do you think their bug was? Again, in parsing of nested structures in ASN1 in the ASN1 BER encoding. So we are looking at these very same encodings in just about every bit of critical software. We're looking at ASN1 being introduced in vehicle-to-vehicles and vehicle-to-infrastructure protocols, because yes, these things are going to have certificates. And so we're now in this situation where verifying parsers is just about the biggest payoff that we could imagine to come from verification. And yet somehow this is not a thing. So we're gathered together to make this a thing. And we're going to have quite a number of new topics introduced this year. So we'll start with the correctness security gap, and then go on to automatic synthesis of grammars, heap allocator semantics, lowering parser verification costs by using a sub-Turing environment in which you do your proof, and then a whole bunch of practical things such as Rust, unparsers, session languages, and more.
System languages, yes.
Yes. So we have quite a workshop ahead of us.